Good morning, everyone. We will now commence the first research session of iHours 2022 on the theme of open and distance learning. The session chair is Professor PMC Tilakaratna, the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Sri Lanka. There are 5 research papers to be presented in this session. I now cordially invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Tilakaratna, to chair this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So we'll have a welcome to this session. This is the first session. And the presenters, now 5 presenters in this session. So every presenter will have 15 minutes for their presentation. And thereafter, so we have 5 minutes for the Q&A session. And others, I request in the outset to mute the microphones. Then when the time comes, of course, you can again unmute the microphone. Now I invite the first presenter to make the presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The title of our presentation is Virtual Intervention on Career Readiness of Undergraduates During the Pandemic Lockdown, Significance, Constraints, and Implications for Future. We are all aware that the global COVID-19 crisis massively affected all levels of education. Especially the higher education entities around the world grappled with teaching, assessment, and administrative challenges in conferring degrees without a delay. Sri Lanka is no exception to these realities, and our higher education system also adopted a fully online mode of education to continue with the production of professional workforce that the country requires. Just as we embrace online education to complete the degrees on time, have we thought about the employability of these half-baked graduates who continue their learning in a solitary online setting? Well, graduate unemployment is not a new problem in Sri Lanka. However, this condition was further worsened by pandemic situation. Hence, predicting the level of employability of these graduates was a daunting task. Generally, the Open University of Sri Lanka does not consider job placement as one of its attributes because we all know that the majority of our students are employed. However, this situation has changed over the years in the Faculty of Natural Sciences. A recent survey conducted in the Faculty of Natural Sciences revealed out of the participants, 31% were unemployed. Hence, it is the time for us also to consider the employability of our graduates as one of our attributes. During this lockdown period, we realized that some students were developing job-seeking anxiety. This could be due to social isolation, lack of information on career opportunities, lack of motivation, and lack of readiness for career. In this light, we realized the importance of a career readiness intervention to support these students. Career readiness is broadly defined as individuals' willingness to decide on their future careers. It is a process of preparing students with the skills they need to find, acquire, maintain, and grow within a job. Hence, career readiness was a timely requirement to prepare our students for the competitive job market. The present study has 2 objectives. First, to share the innovative approach of developing the career readiness of a cohort of BSc undergraduates in 2021 during the complete lockdown period, and also to evaluate learners' perceived impact on virtual career readiness intervention on their career readiness. Now let me explain you the design of this intervention. This intervention consists of 3 sessions,
and it was implemented in May 2021 during the complete lockdown period. The target group was Level 5 students of the Faculty of Natural Sciences. This was jointly organized by the Zoonet and Buckyball Societies of the Department of Zoology and Chemistry, and students were notified about the workshop through emails, Facebook, and WhatsApp.
There were three main aims of this career readiness intervention. First, to enhance the employability of BSc undergraduates of OUSL by facilitating them to comprehend the employer's expectation in terms of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. And then to inspire BSc undergraduates of OUSL to explore career paths in listening to the success stories of OUSL alumni, and to enhance the skills of communication, teamwork, and leadership of BSc undergraduates of OUSL.
This virtual career readiness intervention consists of 3 sessions aiming at knowledge acquisition, motivation, and skill development related to employability. Critical reflection ability of participants were developed by giving the task of writing a reflective learning log, and also the participants were rewarded with a certificate of completion. Finally, the learners' perceived impact of this intervention was measured using a questionnaire survey. Session 1 was conducted by 2 senior managers from reputed private companies in Sri Lanka. They enlightened our students with employer expectations, effective resume building, and improving interview skills, especially related to virtual setting. Session 2 was conducted as a panel discussion. The panel consisted of 4 alumni of the Faculty of Natural Sciences, serving leading private and public sector organizations in Sri Lanka. They shared their success stories and the advantage of being a distance learner to motivate our participants. Session 3 was about improving employability skills. Dr. Jayantha Vattavitanage of Department of Zoology discussed the importance of developing effective communication and leadership skills in career readiness. The second half of the session consisted of virtual activities in both breakout groups and plenary sessions that allowed the participants to identify their potential and their readiness for prospective careers. The learners' perceived impact of the intervention on their career decision was evaluated by self-administered questionnaire. The questionnaire consists of 10 questions representing 5 Likert type scales. The survey was administered as a Google form. Now let's move on to the results of this survey. 53 students participated in all 3 sessions, and among them 47 submitted the learning logs and certificates were awarded to them. According to the demographic characteristics of participants, majority of the participants were female, and most of the participants were belonging to the age category of 25 to 29 years. And 87% of the participants reported to be unemployed. Around 97% participants stated the workshop was well organized, and 93.6% endorsed the intervention fulfilled their career readiness expectation. Also, majority of the participants agreed the session 2, which was conducted by our alumni, was most helpful for them to understand the employability skills. Nearly 96% of participants have stated the intervention was helpful for them to understand the employer expectations. And nearly 98% of respondents have reported that they were able to comprehend different career options. Around 98% of participants have inspired by listening to OUSL alumni success stories, and a similar percentage of participants have agreed that they were able to develop or enhance their communication, teamwork, and leadership skills from the workshop. And almost all participants have endorsed that they would recommend this intervention to fellow students. These are some of the overall experiences and comments and suggestions made by participants for the future development of this career intervention. They have even requested to conduct this workshop annually. As conclusions, participants were satisfied with the career readiness intervention and they have endorsed that the objectives of the workshop were fulfilled. We identified a few constraints of this study, such as weaknesses in the survey instrument, low participation, technical constraints of a virtual setting, and difficulty in assessing the engagement and skill development in a virtual environment. The outcome of this study may have implications for increasing the employability of OUSL BSc undergraduates through the effective transition from university to the workplace. Further, a longitudinal study is required to determine the impact of this workshop on participants' employability and ensuring career success. These are some of the articles we have referred in this study. We would like to acknowledge the Dean of the Faculty of Natural Sciences, all the resource persons, heads and the staff of the Department of Zoology and Chemistry, executive committee members of ZooNet and Buckyball societies, and teaching assistants of both departments for making this intervention a success. Thank you for your attention.
Right, so really appreciate that the research, of course, in essence, the career readiness workshop, of course, based on the Faculty of Natural Sciences, and then where all the that participants out of the 53 students, 47 said that the perceived defect of the let's say this kind of the intervention from the university is very much important to plan their career as well. So therefore, this is that some sort of that so career guidance within the that degree course. Of course, now this is on the virtual platform, virtual intervention of career readiness, and of course we are having now. I have that from the chair. It's not the question; it's a clarification. Now, say what's the that of course the participation while that you are doing this virtually, this career readiness workshop. So how long the that duration of the session? Because I have seen that not the single session, but again categorized into different components. And how did you, let's say, verify they have that actively, attentively participated for the sessions?
Yes, thank you for giving opportunity to talk. So actually the session, we had 3 sessions, and I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, there were 3 sessions, and we conducted each session a 2 hours duration. Okay. And mostly the first session was conducted by the external resource person. So it was most likely a lecture kind of thing but we had a discussion at the end after 1 hour session. We had a 20 or 15 minutes discussion to just check whether they are engaged. And in the panel discussion, it was more like a discussion session. So like continuously the panelists, and there were discussion between the panelist and the participant. And the third session, it was a 30 minutes session we conducted as a lecture kind of a session. And then they were in breakout rooms for about 1 hour doing their problem solving activity. So we have noticed the fully engagement of the students because we have assigned one teaching assistant to each breakout rooms and to evaluate and to see how they are engaging. So overall, there was a high participation, but in a virtual setting, it's very difficult, unlike the physical setting, to see the skill development. But since we conducted this in a fully lockdown period, we had no option to do anything related to physical intervention. So I think we have fulfilled the engagement aspects as well as in the condition we had that time.
Right, good. That it's good to see that control under the control, that environment. You have conducted this research during the pandemic, right? So thank you very much. So any other, let's say, participants, any other comments on this, that research presentation? Okay. So thank you very much once again. Really appreciate that, Ms. Jayasinghe, and that again other co-authors as well. So then we move to the that next session. So then we have the second paper of this session, students dropout rates in health sciences degree program at the Open University of Sri Lanka. So now the floor is with you to the presenter.
Good morning. This research is about the students' dropout rates in health sciences degree programs at the Open University of Sri Lanka. Introduction. The Open University of Sri Lanka is the only national university in the country that facilitates open and distance learning education. The ODL has become one of the fastest growing fields of education nowadays in globe. ODL education became more popular in Sri Lanka with the establishment of the OUSL. Notable issue faced by the OUSL is the number of students enrolling for the degree programs dropping out without completing. Identification of the factors related to student dropouts will be beneficial for implementing successful learn support activities to reduce students' dropouts. In many countries, ODL is considered as an area of priority in their development strategies. However, ODL programs heavily rely on self-study. The students must have good understanding about the course delivery methods and should be self-motivated. Students' dropout rates in ODL higher education system seems to be significantly higher than the face-to-face traditional learning teaching system. The objectives of this research studies are twofold. First, to find out the dropout rates of the students in following three degree programs offered by the Faculty of Health Sciences: Bachelor of Science Honours in Nursing, Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences, and Bachelor of Pharmacy Honours degree program. Second, to find out the causes behind why students had dropped out the programs after enrolling. Data collection. For the dropout rates analysis, data were acquired from the OUSL Management Information System (OMIS). Time period of collected data: Bachelor of Science Honours in Nursing degree program is from the year 2011 to 2019. Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences and Bachelor of Pharmacy Honours degree programs are from the year 2013 to 2019. For analysis of the factors that affected students to drop out, a semi-structured questionnaire was provided as a Google form for students who had dropped the degree program. Students who had not re-registered for 5 consecutive years since his or her initial registration were considered as dropout students of initially registered year. Therefore, considered dropout time periods for each degree program are shown below. Bachelor of Science Honours in Nursing degree program is from 2011 to 2014. Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences and Bachelor of Pharmacy Honours degree programs are from 2013 to 2014. For each degree program, gender-wise dropout percentages were calculated as follows. The formula is given below. Year-wise dropout counts and percentages were calculated for each degree program to compare dropout rates within the considered time period. In the questionnaire, questions were categorized into 3 types: aspects related to students, aspects related to the institution, and aspects related to examinations. Students' agreements for each statement was measured by providing a 5-point Likert scale, not at all affected, slightly affected, moderately affected, highly affected, and extremely affected. Analysis were performed using R version 3.6 and Minitab version 17.1 versions. Analysis of FOMIS data. Gender-wise distribution of the dropout students indicate in this table. The highest dropout count reported from the female category from the Bachelor of Honours in Nursing degree program. The male highest dropout rate report in the BMLS and BPharm degree programs respectively. It shows that male students are more likely to drop the degree programs than the female students for all 3 degree programs. Year-wise distribution of the dropout students indicate in the below table. For the Bachelor of Honours in Nursing degree program for the year 2011 to 2014, BMLS and BPharm degree program from year 2013 and 2014. Overall dropout rates of the students were decreased throughout the year. Further findings of this study as follows. Dropout students' age vary from 25 to 61. More than 90% of them were in between 30 to 45 middle-aged students at the time of dropping out. Among the 187 students who dropped the BSc Honours in Nursing degree program, 85 students were from Colombo Regional Centre. All the dropout students of Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences and BPharm Honours degree programs were from CRC. This is probably because originally BMLS and BPharm Honours degree programs registered only in CRC. Analysis of survey data. Response rates for questionnaire surveys were 9%, 30% and 15% for the BSc Honours in Nursing, BMLS and BPharm Honours degree programs respectively. All the respondent students stated that they were full-time employees and they were married at the time of dropping out. Failing to balance learning, working and family obligations could have been a reason for students dropping out from degree programs. In a recent research study which conducted based on the Open University of Sri Lanka and Universities Terbuka, Indonesia, the authors also revealed that causative factors for dropout include the conditions related to the financial reasons, work, family and other commitments. Age distribution of survey participants for the BSc Honours in Nursing degree program and the BMLS degree program indicate in these pie charts. Majority of students were in age between 31 to 40. This chart indicates the age distribution of survey participants of the BPharm Honours degree program. The majority of the survey participants were in 30 to 40 middle age category. The highest number of influential factors reported categories of each degree program showing in the following table. For Nursing degree program, aspects related to student category reported the highest number of influential factors among the 3 categories. There were 4 factors, namely inability to attend the compulsory academic activities, family problems, hard to take leave and heavy workload. Similarly, aspects related to the test and examination category had the highest number of influential factors among pharmacy degree program. However, for MLS degree program, each category had 2 factors. The highest response rate for the extremely affected category for each degree program indicated in this table. According to the Bachelor of Honours in Nursing degree program, friends drop out from the program indicate as key factor. Bachelor of Pharmacy Honours Degree Program, hard to take leave from work. Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences Honours Degree Program, large number of assessment with high frequency, hard to take leave from work were identified as extremely affected factors. According to the factors, hard to take leave from work could be recognized as a common factor. In a similar research, Leonagama 2014 stated that difficult to obtain leave from work is a reason for students to drop out from engineering degree program at OUSL. In conclusion, based on the analysis of OMIS data, students dropout rates were indicated as follows. 14% of Bachelor of Science Honours in Nursing degree program, 23% for BMLS degree program, 30% for B.Pharm Honours degree program. Most of the dropout students were from Colombo Regional Centre. 90% of the dropout students were in their middle age at the time of dropping out. Analysis of survey data indicate that all the responded students who dropped the degree program were full-time employees. Personnel matters related to students and subject matters related to test and examinations could be important reasons for students to drop out their studies. Difficulties in taking leave from work could be another important cause for these students who are studying while being in full-time employment. Based on these preliminary findings, research team would like to suggest the future directions. So when we consider about the findings, we would like to suggest to introduce learner support activities, programs to the students by department level as well as faculty level.
Slide indicate the list of references.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hera. It's very interesting, of course, area that your team of course, investigated student dropout rates in the health science degree programs, 3 degree programs that you have selected. It's very interesting. And as policy makers, from the chair, one clarification again, and also input as well. Now, by looking at the reasons behind dropouts, is that the first place it came hard to take leave. That is the first one. Then that number of assessments to be engaged. And third one, work-life balance. So therefore, as policymakers, what's your recommendation on especially hard to take leave and number of assessments as research group? What's your recommendation? Well, I didn't see a real recommendation for the policymakers, because it's very interesting. Of course, we are analyzing, but I don't think that if I elaborate more, I don't think that learner support units, though that that we are strengthening, if that they are working, our learner support that systems are working again during the daytime, so therefore it won't help. So what kind of strategy, especially, again I reiterate, okay, number of assessments. Suppose that the particular student has taken 30 credits, maybe let's say 3 course units per semester. So therefore, all 3 course units given, say, 2 CATs, 5 assignments. So therefore, what do you think? I mean, as an example, I have given this one. It is not so, but I have that answer for this. So then, what's your research team suggestion on this number of assessments?
Thank you very much, sir, for the question. And actually, this as a new faculty, initially we have 4 degree programs. So except psychology degree program, we have nursing, pharmacy, and MLS graduates. So according to considering this age initial registration. So we thought of to see how why students drop out and how their dropout rates, to identify a picture about these programs of us and so far until the year 2019. So in that period, the response rate, actually, the students who drop out each programs, very low. So might be there are other issues also, but we are trying to contact more than 3 months period allocating for this research team to find out their information, but very poor response rate. Depending on that results, we are suggesting that these findings of the reasons why they drop out. So considering about your question, actually, we as a faculty would like to suggest the policy level initiations to the university level to reduce the student.
Yeah, Dr. Herat, just listen. I want to suggest, because ODL methodology and also in the conventional universities, there's a system that I said that, let's say, a particular student selected, working student, that 3 courses needs to be completed, let's say first semester. I said again, so number of, assessments. Then at each assessment, that let's say falls in a week, let's say, the all 3 course units, final submission, right? Within, that of course, the date is falling equally, simultaneously. So therefore, that students is under unrest, right? So therefore, there is a system of keeping the semester balance. It means that academics are, let's say, cohesively working together, and we'll have a common discussion. Okay, what's my assignment submission dates? What's your assignment submission dates for the students? Then that in a proper calendar, we are, that keeping, right, different weeks or the dates for the submission. Then their stress level is, that going down. That is the first thing. And the other thing is that for the, of course, that OUSL is meant for working, that of course, people. So therefore, they are knowing at the time of registration and what sort of, that assessments, what sort of, that examinations are there. But here, what I see as a Vice Chancellor, now we have to have a concrete activity schedule, okay, or the, that what is called activity calendar. We are preparing, but these things are not addressed. What is the exact date of examination in advance? When the semester commences, prior to the commencement of the semester, students is well aware that the future date of examination. It is not in an ad hoc way announcing the examination. That is another deficiency of the OUSL. I think that you as a research team will, that provide this information to the, that university quality assurance and all, and will take, that policy decision. Very good study. I really appreciate. Right. So now again, so I open and again welcome some of the clarifications from the audience as well.
Can I have a little clarification, please?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Chulani, like you have collected the data from the students who have dropped out like 5 years back, I think from 5 years to 4 years. Say, how difficult was it? Like, because 5 years back means the student have already they have totally forgotten about the university once they reached by the university to get this survey done. What sort of feedback you got from those students? Like, is it like different from the students who have just like dropped out recently, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so actually when we consider about the current students, the academic year starting from 2018, still their final year studies are going on. So we consider about the already graduated students up to 2019. So then in that period, actually students forget the university, as you mentioned, it's very true. And also their phone numbers and email addresses are not working. So however, we got all the information from the IT division at the time they have registered, and some of the changes, information, contact information were available in the department level. But very few students we were able to contact due to that reason. But some of the contacted students also not responded. So that is also the one of the drawbacks. So anyway, we have to want to see about the how it's this dropout rate is happen in the fast graduates. So the faculty level, now we are processing this study further, and annually we are hoping to re-evaluate about the student re-registration, and then why do they are not registered for the other academic years, and we have to have an idea to follow up this together with the learner support cell. So that is our plan.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Julie. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are running short of time. Really appreciate.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
we'll shift to the next. Of course, next presentation on the topic of the challenges faced by learners in the context of open distance learning. The special refers to the Open University of Sri Lanka. The presenter is Ms. R.J. Vimalasiri.
Good afternoon, all of you. Now I would like to present a slide presentation related to our study. I am Shaini Sandhunika from the Learner Support Unit at the Open University of Sri Lanka. The title of our research is The Challenges Faced by Learners in the Context of Open Distance Learning, with special reference to the Open University of Sri Lanka. The Open University of Sri Lanka is the country's pioneering and leading open and distance learning state university. The Open University of Sri Lanka is unique in Sri Lanka because of the adaptation of open and distance learning techniques in offering the programs. Learner support services are the most important component of any open and distance learning system. It includes a wide range of academic and other related activities. Major benefits of open and distance learning are related to its flexibility, accessibility, affordability, and life-based education opportunities to learners. Here, there are very flexible education methods for employees. They can complete their selected study program with their career. As well, learners can adjust with their study program using online mode, and they can study their course materials themselves. The major concern is the cost of course fee. The course fee at the most private universities is more expensive. OUSL has the lowest tuition fee, and it's very popular as well. Unfortunately, the open and distance learning system has its own unique issues. The high rate of student dropout and delayed program completion is among the most serious issues. High dropout rates and late program completion are indications of underlying issues that open and distance students facing. A critical challenge faced by distance education in Sri Lanka is limited learner support for the students. Many difficulties arise as a result of these challenges in distance learning. In this study, the key objective is to investigate the challenges related to individual, emotional, and institutional level faced by students of open and distance learning at the OUSL. Now, I would like to discuss about the methodology in this study. This study was a field study by analyzing the data from questionnaires quantitatively and qualitatively. The population was identified according to the necessity of the study, and the study consists of learners in all faculties of the Open University of Sri Lanka. There are 6 faculties in the OUSL. For the selection of samples, the convenient sampling techniques has been adopted. According to the Yamani method, sample size should be 100. The methods of primary data collection were adopted by using questionnaires focusing on learners in the OUSL. The questionnaire was used. The questionnaire had close-ended questions to be administered to the learners. The IBM SPSS and Microsoft Excel were used to process and analyze the data. In this study, descriptive statistics were used to analyze students' perceptions about challenges faced by learners and the demographic characteristics of the respondents. Let's pay your attention to the data analysis part. These pie charts show the demographic characteristics of the sample. According to the chart 1, majority of the learners are representing in between 20 to 30 age group. See the chart 2, there are 65% of female learners and 35% of male learners in the OUSL. Notably, the percentage of females were higher than males. According to the chart 3, the marital status of the learners in the OUSL illustrates that about 53.7% of learners are married and 46% of learners are unmarried. As in chart 4, the employment status of the learners in the OUSL shows that about 36.3% of learners are full-time employees. Pay your attention to the challenges faced by learners in the context of open distance learning. The results show statements about individual related challenges facing open and distance learning students. The respondents state that lack of support from family, employer, friends, and conflicts between family and study schedule were difficulties. As well, learners state that the delayed study period at the OUSL was the most difficult institutional related challenge. According to this table, learners state that the lack of balance between job and studies was the most difficult emotional related challenge throughout their study program. Conclusion: family responsibilities and work-life balance with studies are the major challenges facing by the open and distance learners. Also, delayed study periods at OUSL affect the learners negatively. Suggestions: effective learning of open and distance learners and ensuring high completion rates can be achieved by resolving the challenges the learners face. The OUSL should take measures not only to improve the institutional support but also to help the individual and emotional aspects. Especially need to improve soft skills of learners such as time management, work-life balance, etc. Let's enhance learner support services to the OUSL. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your research at the group, the challenges faced by learners in the country of open distance learning, more or less. So it's again related to the previous presentation as well, high dropout rate and delayed program completion. And of course, I would see, though this is interesting, again, how that we should overcome this situation anyway, that dropouts that we cannot completely eradicate, but that we can minimize. So I hope that one thing that we have not considered for this study as an input. Now, I have observed with one of the previous selection interviews for the academic staff, one of the students, that who came from Northwestern province, of course, graduate now, completed her degree, natural science plus education, within in that 4 years and 6 months, with the first class. So therefore, I think, so rather in the whatever the sessions that we are having counseling sessions, we need to invite our alumni or the recently passed out graduates to, let's say, speak about success story. So therefore, that I would suggest in the future, we need to that, of course, invite with a minimum time frame, completed the degree at the OESL, to talk to the prospective student. Otherwise, as that, of course, academic staff or the administrators, when that we are going to that, let's say, elaborate or explain our that procedures, they want that accept 100%, I believe. So therefore, its research team should that have looked at this, that what kind of that, let's say, inspirational methods we should use to, let's say, retain our that undergraduates within the course to ensure the timely completion of the degree. That is one of the inputs from my side. So any other inputs from the audience?
Yes, sir, you correctly pointed out the alumni that we are also in the, especially in the Faculty of Engineering Technology, we get success stories, we get down our alumni, the professional alumni to deliver a note, deliver say about 10 minutes of their life in the Open University and how they become like how they achieve their success. So again, similarly, as you said, sir, as this is the preliminary study done by the fellowship time of Dr. Sauna Pandey, who came from IGNOU. Right. And then based on this, we as the learner support unit, we are now currently conducting further investigating on these issues, and we found out as it's mentioned, the soft skills needed to the students, and the first year, second year, third year, and fourth year, we are in a degree program, what sort of soft skills that we need to provide to the students, that also identified, and we are still analyzing on that, as well as the institutional support. If we are talking about the emotional and individual support, it's really difficult. So because it's individualized, it's very individualized to each student, and the student profile is so different from faculty to faculty. So as a learner support unit, we are based on this, and we are doing further research on this, and we are working closely with the faculties to enhance the learner support activities.
Yeah, and one more input from my side, I think it's very important, this topic. So delayed program completion, again, that it clicked my mind. And of course, now we have bursaries. That is for the, that of course, best performers. But again, we have to have another criterion to be embedded into these bursaries. Okay, those who are completing the minimum, the credits on time, it means that he or she will be a promising undergraduate, will complete the degree within the stipulated time period. I think that I propose to include, let's say, the what is called our scholarship for the bursaries, as one of the criterion, the completion of minimum, that credit requirement per semester or per year to be again price and give some financial assistance. Then when that message will go out from the Open University, definitely will encourage students to engage in continuous learning.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That's right. Again, this study, the delayed programs, one of the reasons are like the Corona time period also, because that is also there. And again, as I said, like if we can fix to the academic activity calendar that we are giving to those students at the beginning of the program, that is without any delay, as the ODL Institute, if we can work according to that, then using the ODL facilities that we have, then it will be very, very useful for the students.
Right. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your, that presentation as well, and the research team. And then now we move to the next presentation by D.U. Ranasinghe on the topic of reflection on educational audio production workshops conducted by the Open Institute of Sri Lanka in 2021. Reflections on audio production workshops.
Wish you all a very good day. Today, I am here to present my research paper titled Reflections on Educational Audio Production Workshops Conducted by the Open University of Sri Lanka in 2020-2021. Here's the overview of my presentation. Introduction. Thomas John shows in his work titled Audio for Distance Education and Open Learning that audio plays a vital role in open and distance learning. Most audio institutions, particularly in their more formal courses, rely on printed text as their main medium of communication for teaching and learning. However, the use of printed text imposes several limitations on both teachers and learners. Accordingly, the importance of audio in an audio environment cannot be underestimated. The Open University of Sri Lanka is unique within the Sri Lankan National University System for being the only university to offer study programs through ODL. The Center for Educational Technology and Media of the OUSL acts as a service provider for all faculties of the university to develop their courses and assure the quality of audio course materials in numerous ways, including conducting various training workshops. 2 training workshops on educational audio productions were conducted by the SATMI for the OUSL academic staff in 2020-2021. They were conducted as hands-on sessions in face-to-face mode. The aim of this study is to examine the reflections of the participants on the educational audio production workshops conducted by the SATMI in 2020 and 2021. As reflection is a key term in this study, let's see what reflection is. Reflection is associated with looking back and examining the past to learn from what happened and perhaps not repeat mistakes. There are 2 types of reflection: reflection in action and reflection on action. Among them, this research deploys reflection on action. Here are my research questions. Let's move on to the methodology. This study employed a qualitative research design to collect data. The collected data were analyzed thematically and then quantified and presented in tables to present the results. It was assumed that only those who have placed their signatures in the attendance sheets participated in the workshops. The data presentation is based on that. A sample of 20 participants were interviewed to collect data to address the research questions mentioned above. A sample comprised of 11% of temporary lecturers, 50% of probationary lecturers, and 39% of senior lecturers who are attached to the faculties of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences, Health Sciences, Natural Sciences and Management Studies. In-depth interviews were deployed in this research as they help to reveal detailed information about a person's thoughts, interpretations, perceptions, and behaviors in depth. Data presentation and discussion. Research question 1. What were the factors that persuaded participants to take part in the workshops? Being nominated by their respective departments was one of the main reasons for everyone to take part in the workshops. 35% of the participants mentioned that they decided to participate in the workshops as they did not have any prior knowledge about the educational audio production process or how to use the microphones and other technical instruments properly for a recording. Some participants had already learned about audio productions, but they have participated in the workshops with the intention of updating their existing knowledge. Some of the participants stated that they participated in the workshop because of the interest in the resource person. Research question 2. What were the participants' reflection on integrating in educational audio production workshops productions with the courses in the ODL context? 100% of the study sample mentioned that integrating educational audio productions with their courses is useful and important. They also mentioned that they are auditory learners and they are bored by reading and understanding text often. So, audio productions should be integrated with their courses. A lecturer attached to the Department of Special Needs Education emphasized the usefulness of educational audio programs for blind students. But some participants mentioned that philosophically it is important to integrate audio productions with their courses, but practically it is challenging because of the time-consuming nature of the production procedure. Research question 3. How did the participants deploy the knowledge acquired through the workshops for the development of their courses in the ODL context? The workshop participants were informed to produce an educational audio production at the end of the workshop. But only 15% of the participants had produced audio programs. Among them, a lecturer attached to the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences mentioned that she produced 2 educational audio programs after participating in the training workshop, and a few questions were asked from the students based on the content of the productions. Another participant who is attached to the Faculty of Education stated that he produced a podcast for the B.Ed in Drama and Theatre program after participating in the workshop. He further stated that a program like drama and theatre cannot be offered only by using the text. Therefore, audio productions play a vital role there. 88% of the participants stated that they used the knowledge gained at the workshops when they were conducting their schools, though they were unable to produce educational audio productions. Here you can see some participants' reflections on the knowledge acquired at the workshops. Research question 4. What were the suggestions to improve the quality of the educational audio production workshops? As shown in the table, the workshop duration should be expanded in the future. Data collected under research question 3 reveals that 85% of the participants have not produced any educational audio production after participating in the workshops, and among them, 40% mentioned that they were unable to proceed with the productions because of the lack of awareness of writing respective audio scripts. Let's come to the conclusions and recommendations. The analysis has revealed that the audio production workshops should be continued in the future too, and the measures should be taken to enhance the effectiveness of workshops. The majority of the participants have joined the workshops to grasp new knowledge and or to update their awareness on educational audio productions. The resource person was also a decisive factor to motivate individuals to participate in the workshops. All participants are in the view of integrating educational audio productions with their courses helps to enhance the quality of the courses in the audio context. But some of them were concerned about the time-consuming aspect of educational audio production procedure compared to producing reading materials. The findings also show that the workshops have helped the capacity building of the participants. Providing only printed material for the students is insufficient. The course developers should also be considered about the auditory learners and those who are facing vision impairments. Integrating educational audio productions with the courses offered in the audio context will be a proper alternation for that. It is also suggested to follow up the process of audio productions in the different stages by the SETMI. Accordingly, it is expected that these research findings will helpful to assure the quality and the output of the training workshops conducted by the OUSL in the future. Here are the references that I have used. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Diniti. It's very interesting. Another, that research, of course, reflection on education audio production workshops. And so I open now for
At the Open University of Sri Lanka. I am going to present to you a study on the
replay. Okay. So I open this forum to the audience to ask any clarifications, rather, that giving the chair the comments. If anybody interested to contribute for the discussion. If there is no, I think here more than 50 participants are here. I think we need to make it mandatory for the, that your sample list, though less 20. What is called 85% said that they are not, that savvy of planning or preparing audio script. It's a serious thing to, be considered as the Open University. And then we emphasize always that, not always, we are the only university in Sri Lanka which adopts open and distance learning. What I see as the Vice Chancellor, it is just kind of, I don't see the difference of when I again look back my 1990s, when I was at the University of Punjab in Chandigarh, correspondence courses. I don't see much of the difference between correspondence courses and the Open University audio. Still, we are living with the old age. All the materials are printed and dispatched and ask them to read. But I think much more than that, not only the audio, but also video as well. Technology has been developed. That is the technology adoption in higher education. I think that in the quality assurance, we need to discuss this one further. And also, again, making it mandatory to, if the video is not, that of course cannot, let's say, upload into the LMS, but audio through the podcasts, the summary, then the student or the prospective student will listen to that audio material right? While that of course, traveling by bus for work, I have observed most of the people always that with the what is called the headsets, and they are in the that they are smartphones, and I think that we need to implement this as a strategy, as a mandatory work to prepare audio material, right? And at the same time video as well. So then our what is called the real meaning will be attached to the ODL. That is my input. It's a good research, and it is again thought-provoking to have different strategies. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
So then we next move to the next presenter, M.K. Jayakodi, on the topic of a study on the user-friendliness of language in selected OUSL course material. User-friendliness. Language in selected OUSL course material. Okay.
User-friendliness of language in selected OUE attached to OU. I am Mayanti Kulatunga Jayakodi, attached to the Center for Educational Technology and Media at the Open University of Sri Lanka. I am going to present to you a study on the user-friendliness of language in selected OUSL course material. Background of the study. Within the ODL system, apart from audio, visual and online material, the main component of the learning resources used in its teaching methodology is course material, also known as instructional material. In fact, the foremost service that is expected of an ODL academic is writing course material, since the learner is not expected to attend every lecture, more commonly referred to as day schools. These course materials are exclusively designed to bridge the gap between the teacher and the learner, and they must contain certain characteristics that make them eligible to perform this function with ease. Some of these essential features are guiding, encouraging, captivating, illustrating, elucidating, provoking, recalling, querying, discussing alternative answers, evaluating the learner's progress, and providing fitting corrective or enhancement aid. These course material must be fitted into a stipulated structure elaborated in the comprehensive manual, the house style. However, to obtain the desired outcomes, the relevant instructions must be delivered to the learner via user-friendly language. Accordingly, the hands-on guide Bridging the Gap focuses on effective writing in distance education based on accepted principles. It also details on how language can be manipulated in making the learning resources more user-friendly. However, not all sessions when presented for final editing exhibit user-friendly language, and this is a drawback that needs to be corrected if the relevant course materials are to reap the best possible results as ODL learning resources. A thorough search proved that no in-depth study has been conducted to date within the OUSL on the lack of user-friendly language in written course material. Therefore, the current study aimed at studying the ways in which the language has lacked user-friendliness, the possible reasons behind this situation, and the measures that could be taken to rectify this issue. Methodology. 200 randomly selected sessions of OUSL course material were textually analyzed. Their language editing was done in accordance with the guidelines provided on language usage in Bridging the Gap, emphasizing on writing clearly, plainly, and using a conversational tone as if the teacher is directly addressing the learner. Editing was done using track changes, and the comments made by the editor was categorized into 6 aspects specified in the guide, namely choice of words, sentence structures, paragraph structure, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. Measures were taken to make sure that all 6 faculties of the OUSL were represented when selecting sessions. Furthermore, a questionnaire was circulated among 20 academics selected from those who had written the analyzed course material to investigate the reasons behind these drawbacks and also what prompted them to write in user-friendly language. The study relied on both quantitative and qualitative data, thus making it a mixed method of data analysis. Results and discussion. Out of the 200 sessions, 120 sessions were well written using a conversational style with simple and plain language. However, though 40% of the sessions lacked user-friendly language, it must be noted that they fell under this category due to various reasons. This table provides a comprehensive presentation of certain specificities of well-written ODL instructional material that were missing in the textually analyzed sessions. Accordingly, here are some of the least common lackings. Only 8 sessions lacked unified, coherent, and well-linked paragraphs. This could be because academics are more familiar with academic writing, which prioritizes cohesive and logical presentation. This enables them to effortlessly link one idea to another while focusing more on course content. Also, there wasn't much unnecessary capitalization, probably because authors are aware when to capitalize proper nouns related to their field of study and also when not to. Speaking of more prominent lackings, there seemed a significant inconsistency in the type of spelling. Though it is not specified in the manual, the generally used English variant in OUSL course material is Standard British English in order to maintain uniformity. However, a considerable number of sessions had used American spelling, while some had a mixture of both. This could be because information is fed into all computers in American English. Furthermore, in fields such as engineering technology, health sciences, and management, academics extract knowledge from American textbooks and tend to use American spelling along with the respective course content. Another equally common drawback was the irregularity in using punctuation marks. Insertion of punctuation marks at unnecessary instances and ignoring them where necessary had failed to create the expected impact. This is a concern related to lacking of language knowledge and not with content knowledge. The main issues related to sentence structure were writing very long sentences containing too many clauses and negations and writing in passive voice. Related to the choice of words, there seemed to be a surplus of words and too many technical terms. However, it must be noted that sometimes it is unavoidable to introduce many technical terms in course material depending on the subject matter. The author then has to work harder in helping the students to understand the content of the material. The responses to the questionnaire circulated among the academics revealed a few reasons behind lacking of user-friendly language. They are prioritizing course content with little or no attention paid on how knowledge is projected, difficulty in shifting from academic writing to a more conversational tone, not being familiar with the guidelines provided in Bridging the Gap, and not being fluent in grammatical rules. On the other hand, as for usage of more user-friendly language, they emphasized that it is important to be conversant with the guidelines of writing purposeful instructional material, be aware of their job profile as ODL teachers and how it differs from the conventional university teachers, and practice writing in user-friendly language in order to produce well-focused learning material. Conclusions. The foremost service expected of an ODL academic is producing instructional material that bridge the gap between the teacher and learner. As a result, they must be written in user-friendly language, which seems to lack in some of the material produced at the OUSL. Accordingly, this study investigated on the user-friendliness of language in selected OUSL course material by conducting a textual analysis on 200 randomly selected sessions and circulating a questionnaire among 20 academics who had written those selected sessions. 40% of the sessions exhibited flaws that made them lack user-friendly language related to aspects such as the choice of words, sentence structures, paragraph structure, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. This has so happened due to prioritizing course content over usage of language, difficulty in shifting from academic writing to more informal language, and lacking confidence in their language ability. Being conversant with the guidelines of writing instructional material and how their job profile as ODL teachers differ from the conventional university teacher is vital in producing purposeful course material. Training on the usage of effective language seems helpful. Furthermore, newly recruited academics should be made aware of the service expected from them as ODL teachers. Recommendations. This study has focused only on certain selected sessions written by OUSL academics. This same study could be conducted in other institutes within the country that follow the ODL system to investigate to what extent a user-friendly language has been used in their instructional material. Thus, it would be beneficial to a wider scope of institutes that follow this teaching learning system. These are my references. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayanti. It's again a very interesting area that you have touched. Of course, very difficult to judge upon the what is known as the user-friendly language, how to use to match with that each and every student.
Yes.
So therefore, I think that in the ODL, because in your conclusion you have made that what is called the other institution in Sri Lanka, but I don't think that other issues are, of course, with the that completely ODL, but they are online.
Yes.
So what I have seen in the LMS, if the that conventional universities, of course, it's like this. Just to give you a glimpse of what's happening elsewhere. So online teaching and learning, not the ODL, right? That is open and distance learning. I consider the same as it is. There is no difference. And if you take the that Moodle LMS page, say a particular week is having, let's say, recorded lecture session, of course, edited version. Second, there is a key text. Out of that key text, the relevant chapter by using what is known as PDF cutter, uploaded into the LMS. That is second thing. Third thing, out of that, the provided learning material, I mean big chapter, summarized by the academic to the 3-4 pages, maximum 5. And this the first page, of course, learning outcome of the session, not the that say intended learning outcome of the that, let's say, whole course unit. It is in the beginning. So then learning outcome of the session, and then that so introduction, how the organize the, let's say, 4 pages summary, and then subject matters. That's all. Then the students will be able to, let's say, listen, then summary can be read. And if the student wanted more details about the in-depth subject matters, relevant chapter is there. Not only that, student himself can check whether he or she has been achieved or that met the intended learning outcomes. Quizzes are there. Self-test questions. Now you see how that they have organized. So therefore, I don't know whether you are in the, set me, whether this kind of structure that we are adopting. It's not typing. So therefore, and again, we have a house type. So therefore, now we need to benchmark what are the best practices elsewhere, right? The open universities in the other countries, what sort of language, especially in English language, the language that is, as you said, long sentences cannot understand and losing the meaning as well. Then the second, syntax errors of the sentence. And you said passive voice used, then it is very difficult to understand. So therefore, I think we have to again think about quality assurance process for this micro level to be adopted while preparing course material. This is my inputs to improve this kind of research and to again pass this information to our quality assurance unit to be taken up for the discussions and the quality assurance cells of the faculties as well to disseminate this information. Right, thank you. So any other, that clarifications or the inputs from the audience?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hi, Mayanti. Thank you for a very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
So seeing that language, English language is a second language for most of us,
Yeah.
right? Would you recommend very strong language editing before being sent for like user-friendly language? Would you recommend that there has to be like a language editing team or something like that before it goes? Yeah.
Within your own department, is it?
Or anything? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I think it would be actually beneficial for both parties because we have a shortage of editors for one thing within the university, and sometimes the content we may not be very familiar with the content unless you have studied that particular study program.
That's true.
There are times that we need to, we need to double check. Sometimes we need to Google and check whether this is exactly right, whether it's in par with the context that you are looking at. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So it's always good if you can have another person go through it, not the writer, but someone within the department who is also aware of the course content, and then send us, because it's always good if you can be more conversational in your course material, which we also look into at SETME.
Right.
But still, for all, I think when we have the CTHE programs or whatever the other training programs that we have conducted by the SETME, we always insist on using the conversational tone because of this gap that we need to bridge between the teacher and the learner.
Right.
So it's always good that all ODL teachers have at least a rough idea about what we are talking about, so that we have, we have less time to spend more on on a session. We have less time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Dr. Vimar. It's very good, that so your feedback. Of course, another known person should read this, not the writer.
Yes.
It's very, very, very valid point. Yeah,
Yes, sir,
that
we
is
have,
one that we need to propagate. Yes.
yes, we have faculties, we have the peer group reviewing process also established, like it's in place. So the lessons written by the individual department has to be like revised by a peer, which is a fellow academic in the same department that is also there.
Yeah, that's I too suggested Dr. Rumin the same thing at the quality our that quality assurance meeting, where that each that department meetings, I do not know that the frequency of having department meetings, but at the department meetings, 1 or 2, let's say at a time, can share their own that material as a sample, right, just for the peer evaluation. That is the best method. And thereafter that screening, so the first hand information, and thereafter pass into the SETME. I think this reduce this kind of the complex problems in the future. So that's a good suggestion. Okay. Right. So we come to the that of course end of this session. Of course, presented 5 papers. It's very interesting, and all touching the very relevant, timely, important topics relevant to the open and distance learning at the Open University of Sri Lanka. I really appreciate all presenters and the participants actively participated for the session. More than that 60 in the beginning, but reduced up to 51, and helping the chair with that Zoom co-host Shalini Rajasingham and Kanishka, and of course Geeta Kulasekara and Diniti Uppala. Thank you very much, and have a that productive day. Thank you very much once again.